She smashed my daughter's face into the cake, while it was still hot from the oven. I heard the scream before I saw the frosting bubble against her cheek. The smell of burning sugar and skin. The way the candles fell, one by one. My sister laughed. "My bad," she said, wiping icing from her nails. "My name is Melanie. And if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned. What do you do when cruelty comes wrapped in birthday ribbons?" I held my daughter, shaking, her cheek blistered red. 11 candles. 11 years of protecting her. Ruined by one twisted moment meant for attention. My father stepped forward. Not toward my daughter. Not toward me. But to place a firm hand on my sister's back.
"She didn't mean it," he said.
"She was just being playful. Stop overreacting." I looked at him, waiting. For concern. For decency. For any sign he saw what just happened. But he shrugged. "She's a kid. Let her toughen up." My sister smirked behind him, licking icing from her thumb. I saw red. Not just from the candles. Not from the icing streaking my daughter's cheek. But from every memory that flooded back. Of being told to toughen up. When my sister pushed, hit, screamed, and got away with it all. We left without another word. No gifts. No cake. Just silence and a cooling burn on my daughter's face. I didn't cry. She didn't either. But when we got home, I texted one person. The one person who never laughed when I bled. Who never told me to calm down. I said, "Grandma, it happened again." She didn't reply. Not then. But at 6:42 a.m. the next morning, she stood outside their door. In her floral robe, slippers, and a baseball bat. She didn't knock.
She walked in.
And that's when everything began to shift. The neighbors say they heard a vase shatter. Some say it was a picture frame. But I know my grandmother. She never misses the target. She swung once, not at a person, but at the glass display shelf my father worshipped. Shards rained down like glitter. My sister screamed from the hallway. Grandma didn't flinch. "I told you," she said, calm as ever. "Touch Melanie's child again, and I will shatter everything you love." My father stepped forward, hands raised.
"Mom, stop."
"You're being insane." She raised the bat again. "Don't you dare use that tone with me. You defended abuse. On a child." My sister stayed behind the kitchen door, peeking like a coward. Same as always. It wasn't about the cake. It never was. It was the way they laughed after pain. The way I was raised to believe bruises meant I was too soft. That silence was strength. But my daughter? She wouldn't inherit my silence. Back at home, I wrapped her cheek gently with aloe and gauze. She didn't say much. But that night, she slept with the lights on. And her teddy bear clenched like a shield. Grandma came over later. Her knuckles were red. Her voice, soft. "I didn't touch them," she said. "Didn't have to." The sound of that bat did the talking. Then she held my daughter's hand. "You're not them," she whispered. "And I won't let them touch you again." My daughter looked at her, the first flicker of safety in her eyes. But I knew the war wasn't over. Not with how this family works. My father would spin it. My sister would post it. And by morning, I'd be the unstable mother again. So, I made a plan. Not for violence. Not for drama. But for clarity. I pulled out the dusty envelope from my drawer. The one labeled with my name. The one that held the truth about what Grandma had been hiding for 20 years. If they wanted to keep playing games, they were about to lose something permanent. And this time, I wouldn't just protect my daughter. I'd rewrite the legacy they tried to bury me in. The envelope had dust on the edges, but the paper inside was crisp, untouched, preserved, like a secret that had been waiting for its moment. Inside it, a deed, a trust, a name.
Mine.
When my mother passed, everyone assumed the house had gone to my father. He certainly acted like it. He changed the locks, tore down her garden, moved my sister in. But the truth? My mother had quietly signed it over to me. Grandma was the witness. The document was legally sound, dated and notarized. I was 20 when she died. Too broken to understand what power meant. too conditioned to stay small.
But now?
With my daughter bruised and my name slandered in family group chats? Now I understood. I called the county office. Confirmed the title.
It was still in my name.
Never updated. Never transferred. They've been living in my house all these years, mocking me from within walls I legally owned. My hands trembled, not from nerves, but from clarity. I printed 3 copies. One went in a bright pink envelope labeled, "To Dad, smile, smiling face with smiling eyes." The second went to my sister's office, with glitter and confetti. The third? I taped it to their front door. The caption underneath, written in red marker, said, "Eviction begins in 30 days." By noon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Are you insane?" It was my father's voice. "You can't just do this." I leaned against the window, calm. "You've been trespassing on my property for 15 years. Consider this a courtesy notice."
He stuttered.
Blamed Grandma. Blamed lawyers. Blamed everyone but himself. Then, finally, "You wouldn't do this to your own family." I smiled. I didn't burn my child's face on her birthday. That was family.
Click.
That night, I baked a small cake. Just me and my daughter. No candles. No noise. She held my hand as I sliced it. Softly, she asked, "Are we safe now?" I kissed her bandage. "Not yet, baby, but we're getting there." And in that moment, I knew I was finally becoming the woman my mother meant me to be. By morning, the group chat had exploded. Aunt Lynn said I was unstable. Uncle Marv said I needed prayer. My sister? She posted a photo of herself crying. Caption: "Some people destroy their own blood for attention." But the comments didn't go how she expected. Someone replied, "Didn't you push a child's face into a hot cake?" The silence that followed was delicious. I didn't respond. I didn't explain. I didn't need to. The truth was already echoing. Meanwhile, my father showed up at my job, gray suit, shaky hands, holding an envelope of his own. "I'm willing to buy the house," he said. "Let's settle this like adults." I looked him in the eye. "For 15 years, you let her treat me like dirt. Then you did the same to my daughter. You're not buying peace. You're renting guilt." He slammed the envelope down. "There's money in there. Real money. Think about your child." I smiled. "I am." Then I slid his offer back toward him, unopened. He left in silence. That same afternoon, Grandma came over with a folded list. At the top, things they took. My mother's wedding necklace. The antique desk from her office. Jewelry meant for me. Savings bonds in my name. And the violin my mom played when I had nightmares. "They stole those things one by one," Grandma said. "And I let them. Because I thought you'd never want to go back there." I held the list like a map. Not for revenge. For reclamation. They thought this was about cake. But this was about erasure. What they erased from my daughter, they'd already erased from me. That ends now. I called a locksmith. Arranged a formal notice. And called a non-profit for domestic survivors. "Would you be interested in housing women temporarily?" they asked. I nodded, even though they couldn't see me. "Yes, I have space. And stories." Because healing doesn't just mean evicting the people who broke you. It means opening your doors to the ones still trying to breathe. 30 days passed like wind through broken windows. The official eviction notice went up. Stamped. Dated. Legal. Final. My sister posted a TikTok crying in the living room, framing herself beneath Mom's old chandelier. Captioned, "She's destroying the house our mother built." I laughed. Because it was our mother who left that house to me. It was them who filled it with rot. Neighbors started whispering. Some offered fake sympathy. But most? They remembered. They remembered the screams. The broken glass. The way my sister mocked me from the porch when I came to drop off Christmas cookies and was told to leave them on the mat like the help. Karma had a long attention span. I walked through the house 2 days before the deadline. Room by room. Memory by memory. The wallpaper Mom picked was still there. So was the coffee stain in the corner where she used to sit and read. But something felt different. The ghosts had stopped apologizing. They were watching now, waiting for justice. That night I got a call. A young mother. 2 kids. Nowhere to go. Can you take them? The shelter rep asked. I didn't hesitate.
Yes.
The house is ready in 2 days. On the 31st morning, I returned with Grandma and a locksmith. My sister stood outside with crossed arms, sunglasses on, as if hiding behind a brand could erase what she'd done. You're displacing us, she spat. You're ruining everything. I didn't blink. You shoved my daughter's face into a hot cake. You mocked her burn marks. You gaslit me.
You stole from me.
This isn't displacement. This is reclamation. My father didn't speak. He just stared at the front door like it might open if he wished hard enough. It didn't. The locksmith clicked the new lock into place. When they drove off, I didn't watch. I walked in barefoot and stood in the center of the living room. My daughter stepped beside me, eyes wide. Is it really ours now? I nodded. No more ghosts. No more yelling. Just us. And whoever we decide to help. Because revenge isn't just about taking back what's yours. It's about deciding what you do with it next. The house echoed differently now. No more slammed doors. No more whispered insults behind curtains. Just laughter, light, uncertain at first, like a child learning to walk again. The young mother arrived 2 days later. Her name was Jenna. 2 kids. 1 suitcase. And eyes that looked like mine once did. Tired, cautious, half hopeful. I handed her the key. No speeches. No forms. Just dignity. This room gets the best sunlight in the morning, I said, opening the same window where my sister once screamed at me for breathing too loud. Jenna didn't ask questions, but her silence was grateful. That night, I lit a candle in Mom's room. It used to be locked. Now it smelled of lemon oil and peace. I found her violin. Not stolen, just stuffed in a plastic bin, rosin box cracked. I held it like a memory that didn't ask to be forgiven. Then I opened the letter Grandma had kept sealed for years. Mom's last words to me. If they ever turn my house into a prison for you, let it become a refuge for someone else. I didn't cry. Not that night. Not yet. But something shifted. My daughter drew a sign and taped it to the front door the next morning. It read, "This house is for healing only. If you're here to hurt, don't knock." Jenna smiled when she saw it. Then she offered to help repaint the hallway. We chose soft yellow. While we painted, the doorbell rang. My sister stood there, sunglasses off this time, mascara streaked, arms folded. She looked smaller than I remembered. I lost my job, she muttered. They think I'm some kind of child abuser. I said nothing. She sniffed. Do you feel better now? I looked her in the eye.
Slow.
Steady. Unmoving.
No.
But I feel whole. That's better. She didn't step inside. She didn't ask to. The door shut behind her like a chapter finally closing. And inside, my daughter played softly with Jenna's kids. Laughter bouncing against walls that used to carry screams. The cake burns were gone now. But the lesson? Still warm. Spring came early that year. Or maybe it just felt that way inside the house. With every door left open, every meal shared at a long, repaired table. Something thawed that had been frozen for decades. We planted a garden in the back. My daughter chose marigolds. Jenna's youngest picked tomatoes. And I chose lavender. The scent my mother wore on Sundays. The scent that clung to the violin case she never let anyone else touch. Healing had become our routine. Until the envelope came. No return address. Just my name, handwritten. In the same cursive my father used on birthday cards I never opened. Inside, a photo. My sister. In a courtroom. Hair pulled back. Sitting beside a lawyer. She was suing me. Defamation, emotional distress, loss of employment. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was exactly what she'd do. When she realized control was no longer hers. I showed it to Grandma. She didn't flinch. She's betting you'll be scared, she said. She forgot whose name is on the deed. We prepared. We gathered screenshots, text messages, the medical report from my daughter's ER visit, the one Dad had tried to convince me not to file. Jenna offered to testify. So did a neighbor. And the social worker, who remembered how my sister tried to twist the story. But the real weapon? A video I didn't know existed. From a birthday guest's phone. Shaky, grainy, but clear.
My sister laughing. My daughter crying.
The cake still steaming. It had been posted once. Deleted later. But never erased. I uploaded it to a private drive. Titled it, In Case They Lie. Because sometimes the most powerful proof is the one they didn't know they left behind. I didn't want a courtroom war. But if they dragged me into one, I'd walk in wearing lavender, holding the truth like a shield. And this time, the little girl inside me wouldn't sit silent in the gallery. She'd stand beside me. The courtroom was cold. Not from the AC, but from the weight of years pressing down in legal silence. My sister sat across from me. Hair neat. Lipstick perfect. Eyes hollow. Her lawyer painted me as bitter. A woman with a grudge. A jealous sibling who weaponized motherhood for revenge. I didn't move. Didn't blink. Then my lawyer stood and pressed play. The video lit up the screen. A room full of party guests. Laughter. Then a sudden brutal push. My daughter's scream pierced the courtroom like glass. Steam rose from the cake. And my sister's voice echoed. Oops, guess she can't handle a little heat. You could feel it.
The shift.
The weight of truth crashing into carefully crafted lies. My father was in the back row. Face pale. Hands shaking. The judge didn't take long. Case dismissed. No merit. Counterclaims may proceed. But I didn't file any. Because revenge, to me, wasn't about money. It was about memory. About removing the crown from a family's false royalty. And returning the dignity they stole. Outside, my sister tried to speak. I raised a hand. You taught me what cruelty looks like when it's dressed as tradition. And I will never let my daughter inherit that. She lowered her eyes. And for the first time in her life, she had nothing to say. We drove home with the windows down. Lavender tied in the rearview mirror, swaying gently with the breeze. At home, my daughter ran through the garden, laughing, whole, unafraid. Inside, Jenna was baking. This time, the cake was fully cooled, frosted with care, and decorated with marigolds. My daughter leaned over and whispered, "No one's gonna push anyone this time, right?" I smiled. Not ever again. Later that night, I sat in my mother's old chair, violin resting beside me, a candle flickering near her photo. I whispered, "They can keep the noise. We have the peace." And with that, the story closed.